Themselves to this one only one God through peace. They do it something called the ibadah, and one of the most beautiful ibadah is marriage, the relationship between the husband and the wife. And sometimes we all go through struggles before marriage, during marriage, after marriage. It's a very big process, and this struggle is called jihad. So jihad is a struggle in your ibadah, in your worship, as a Muslim to complete your Islam. So remember that the prophets were always sent to give new information and also to correct information that the people have diluted or went away from. For example, Jesus Christ, peace be upon him, was sent to the children of Israel because they have changed some of the laws of Moses, Musa, peace be upon him. So he was sent to correct the children of Israel for the mistakes of Musa, but also to introduce them with new information or new law. For example, Isa alayhi salam, he was given the Torah, right, that was given to Moses, and the Injil, the Gospel. Okay, and this was given to his people. So the old information corrected was the Torah, and then the new information was the Bible. Now, with Muhammad sallallahu alayhi wa sallam, one of the things that he came to correct was the story of Adam and Eve, and this is a very big story and a very big problem during the time of Muhammad sallallahu alayhi wa sallam and our current time. Specifically in the position of Eve and what happened. So it's very hard to say whether that the Old Testament said this or that it was interpreted this way, that it was Eve's fault to pick the apple and the devil influenced her, and so many traditions after that interpreted that women were devilish or evil, or without man, women are not good, so on and so forth. A man's above the woman. Many cultures and traditions, not just within Judeo-Christian traditions, but everywhere. The Hindu tradition, same thing. They had some sort of context that women were evil or devilish, and they're easily influenced by the devil. So Muhammad sallallahu alaihi wasallam comes into the picture, comes into the world as the last prophet, and he's given the Quran with the true story of Adam and Eve, and it's pretty simple. Both of them ate from the tree, both of them were equally blamed. That's it. No blame on Eve, no special curse on Eve, no. Adam and Eve were told not to eat from the tree, and they decided to eat from the tree anyways, but they ate it together as partners, and I'll go into that in a second. They ate from the tree and they were punished by it. Pretty simple story. No special cursing on Adam or Eve or so on and so forth. None of that. So there was no interpretation of, oh, women are bad or evil or sinful, whatever. Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala created Adam and Eve. And He created Eve from the rib. Okay, from the rib of Adam. Many scholars, Muslim scholars says, there's a reason why she was created from the rib, not from the feet, and not from the head. Because women aren't above men, women aren't under men, but are women equal to men. Okay, that was the idea that many scholars interpret why the woman was made from the rib. And I'm talking about scholars from hundreds of years ago to currently. Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala, one of His first commands, okay, imagine one of the first laws, one of the first commands, was to Adam and Eve, and told them both to live in tranquility and peace together. One of the first commands was to tell a husband and wife to be happy with each other. Imagine that. It wasn't about fasting. It wasn't about, pork and alcohol or against a religion. No, the first thing was a relationship. A command from Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala. So whenever we think of marriage or love and compassion, we shouldn't just look at it as something that's convenient for us, but a command from God. One of the first commands from God, from Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala. And another important thing that you need to take notice is that a lot of translations of the Torah come off saying that Eve's job was to serve Adam. Because it directly, in the translation, it directly says server. So you have an interpretation that women were made for what? For men. Right? Adam, Allah made him, or in the Torah it says God made him a bunch of animals. He said, these animals, satisfy me, but they don't satisfy me in a particular way. So God made him, Eve, to serve him for his satisfaction. So that creates a lot of weird, funky interpretations. That's why in the Quran, what does God call Adam and Eve? Azwaj. And if you know what azwaj means, it means partners. Two things that are complementary to each other. two halves. This word made sure that husbands and wives were to look at each other as equals, not one serving the other, but both serving each other. This was a very, very big thing, and you will find out that some of the people during Muhammad ﷺ's time found it very difficult and very hard to let go of husband being better than the wife, or in general, men being better than the woman. And you will see that many people didn't like or appreciate Muhammad, peace be upon him, ﷺ's actions. For example, Muhammad ﷺ was given laws of Islam. And sometimes he was given how to, give those laws, how to preach to the people, how to teach the people, how to love the people, and sometimes he wasn't. So where would he go to get advice? From his wife. From his wife. He would go and ask her, what does she think about this certain situation? She will tell him, and he follows what she does, takes her advice. They're not talking about, is this right or wrong? No, they're talking about, hey, this is the truth, we both agree on this. How can I, as a leader of my people, do this? He's asking his wife. Getting advice from his wife. Many of the Arab people did not get advice from their wife. That's very degrading. No, if I get advice from a woman, that says I'm like a woman, you know what I mean? She's here to serve me, I'm not here looking for help from her. No, she's here to help me, that's it. Another thing was that Muhammad ﷺ really trusted his wife, especially Khadija. Okay, when he was told that he was a prophet, he was in big awe. He was very surprised. Now imagine someone coming up to you and saying, hey, an angel Gabriel comes up to you and says, hey, you're a prophet, by the way. He was a very big awe, very surprised, and very shocked, and very nervous. He was very shaky, he was crying. Very surprised at what the situation was. The first person he went to after that was Khadija. He went to Khadija, and he went in her arms. And she put her arms around Muhammad sallallahu alayhi wa sallam. As he was shivering and shaking, and he was saying, what does this mean? And Khadija had told him, Allah trusts you with this message. This is truth, to confirm him. She was there, she was backing him up. This is what Khadija did to her husband. Especially in the movies, you see the guy, in the motorcycle looking all big, and the cute girl is cuddling in him. But here we see the opposite. We see Muhammad ﷺ cuddling in his wife, trusting his wife. Now in many societies that doesn't look manly, that makes you look feminine, that makes you look like a woman. But Muhammad ﷺ, no. He wasn't afraid of that. He wasn't afraid of trusting his wife, even though she was a woman. He cuddled in her arms. And there's another interesting thing about Khadija. Who was making the money in the relationship of Khadija and Muhammad ﷺ? Khadija was. In fact, Muhammad ﷺ was a poor man who found a job with Khadija. Khadija owns a company, and he works for her. So Khadija is his boss. And Khadija saw that, okay, this is a good man, he's very respectable, he respects me, he understands me, and he's able to take on that there's a woman being his boss. Many Arabs did not like the idea of a woman being on top of them. They did not like that. But she saw that Muhammad ﷺ did accept that idea. So she sends her servant to go to Muhammad ﷺ and propose. A woman proposing to a man. Something that, again, society does not do because it's not right for a woman to propose for a man. That's just not right. A man has to do it. But with Khadija, she did it herself. She saw Muhammad ﷺ as a good man, and she herself went to Muhammad ﷺ and asked for his hand in marriage. And he said yes. This was a woman who was also double his age. She was in her 40s. He was in his 20s. He also wasn't afraid of marrying an older woman. Sheikh Hamza Yusuf, a very, very big scholar in Islam. UT tried to get this guy. They think it cost him about $10,000 for one lecture. Big